Hello, this is Andreas from Nordic Tarot, and I'm here with a love reading for the second half of October. And I just want to mention, as always, that before we get into the readings, that these readings are general and they won't, and really they can't resonate with everyone. So I really hope there is a message for you, but if there is not, I'm sorry. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy your reading. Hello Capricorn, Sun, Moon and Rising. This time around, your underlying energy is the Knight of Wands. And I think, if I remember correctly, you had the Knight of Wands in your last reading as well. And the Knight of Wands is still here, and like I said, it's your underlying. And the Knight of Wands is this fiery, passionate, comes in with passion and driving force to do something. But I'm wondering, maybe, I don't necessarily see it, but there's also this kind of unreliability to the Knight of Wands, which to me is not very much Capricorn. That's not a Capricorn. Let's just say that's not the word I would use to describe a Capricorn. Unreliable. That's just, I mean, that's my opinion, but the Capricorns I've met are not very unreliable. But so there is this like underlying energy of like passionate, like a driving force kind of. But what kind of, I was going to say worries me, but I guess it doesn't worry me, but something I'm wondering about is your situation. The heart of the reading, you have the Emperor, which to me is a very Capricorn kind of energy, because, the Emperor is in control. He knows what he's doing, he knows best, it's my way or the highway, and it is very much about this control and, like, just step off because I know what I'm doing. But what's crossing the Emperor is the Three of Swords, and the Three of Swords is like past issues. It's emotional baggage. So are you having some issues currently with maybe the concept of being in control? Or something, I feel like it's something coming up with this like great driving force of the Emperor, and then being crossed by this Three of Swords, which, like I said, is emotional baggage. This is something that's happened to us in the past. This is something that's been with us for a time, And I feel like it might have something to do with opening up and just like, no, I'm in control and just don't mess with anything because I'm doing this. I can do it. Don't worry about it. Like, that's kind of the feeling I'm getting from this, that it is this very much, maybe not fighting to hold control, but being very firm, like, no, I'm in control and that's just how it is. I'm not scolding you at all, Capricorn. I hope it doesn't sound like I'm scolding you. I don't want to do that. And I don't mean to. But is that the kind of situation you're in? Is someone coming in and kind of trying to get control or getting you to loosen up or something like that? Because in the past here, you have the Eight of Pentacles, which is a card that is about working, and it's like the Apprentice card. So this is someone who is working toward mastery, which also means that they don't mind doing the work because they know what the path is ahead and they know what the end goal is. And it's you putting in a lot of work, and I'm wondering if the Three of Swords and this Eight of Pentacles energy, if they're connected in some way, that this had to do with you working a lot, maybe. Like, was that creating some kind of friction? Of course, only you can answer that, but that's kind of what it feels like to me with the messages I'm getting. And in the present, you have the Justice card. And Justice is the karmic scales balancing. It's like, it can be about receiving a message, like an apology, for example, or it can be receiving a decision, like a decision is being made. It can also be about contracts, like marriages. I'm just wondering if you've kind of felt stuck in this for a while, or is this something is this Justice energy that's happening right now, is that being very difficult for you? Is this something, do you feel like you're waiting for something, or that it's kind of holding you down? Like you can't move on until you receive this message or apology, or that this, whatever this contract might be, that's being sorted out. But like looking at the cards around you, it looks like you have a lot of focus and control. It kind of looks like you know what's right and know which path to pick and all these things, right? But so the main focus here, I guess, is the Three of Swords. Like, what is that? What's that issue, right? Because you got some really amazing cards, but it looks like something's bothering you. Like, all in the middle of these great energies. And when I say great energies, they are potentially great energies. some people will feel very burdened with the Seven of Pentacles energy. Some would be very worried about the Justice energy. Some won't feel very grounded with the Knight of Wands energy, right? So it all kind of depends. But like I said, is this Justice and Three of Swords connected as well? Like, is this where this Three of Swords energy is coming from? Is this what the problem is? Like, are you feeling out of control? Like this Justice, maybe that's the culmination of something that's been going on for a while, right? And the Emperor, being so in control and knowing what he's doing, is feeling maybe left out. Is maybe feeling like he's not in control, or it's like he can't progress until this Justice energy is finished, for example. And maybe it's making you feel quite vulnerable. But at the same time, in your future, then you're the King of Pentacles. And before I continue, I'd like to say that, and I say this in every video when I get a court card, is that yes, this is a King of Pentacles, but even if you're a woman or someone with a lot of feminine energy, you can still show up as the King of Pentacles. Because this is a general reading and it's trying to cover as many people as possible, right? So, is this you? Are you this King of Pentacles and you're like coming back to your own energy and you're feeling like in yourself and in your own power again? Because that'd be amazing, of course. But this can also be someone, like someone you partner up with, for example. Because I feel like there's some kind of new beginning here, like that's happening with this King of Pentacles. And if this is someone else, like for example, if you're a straight man, then this King of Pentacles might then be in the form of a woman. But like I said, in this general reading, it just shows up as the King of Pentacles. It just shows up as the King of Pentacles. I just want to make that clear and don't want to freak anyone out. But yeah, it just feels like either you are coming home to yourself and you're feeling stable and in yourself and in your power, like I said, or this is someone else. And yes, it's a Pentacle card, but it can be that, this might be a Scorpio or a Libra or, another element, but they show up as the King of Pentacles because they are your king or your queen, right? But I just feel like this person is coming in for you. Or, again, like I said, this is you. But I feel like whichever it is, it's like very stable and grounded and solid for you. And it's kind of that return, like the Justice energy is over and maybe the Three of Swords energy dissipates and you feel back in control. And that's what's happening in the future, right? And in your crowning energy, or what's your advice, you have the Ten of Pentacles. And the Ten of Pentacles is the legacy card. And it's stability, security, and support. And this is like, what is your legacy? What is happening with this? It's a very stable conclusion to a cycle as well. And maybe this card is asking you, like, what is your legacy? What are you working toward? And because this love reading is this, what's the legacy in a relationship? Like, what is the kind of relationship you want to end up with? Is stability, security, and support very important to you currently to receive that from someone else? Is this you providing this? It's like, oh, this is what I want to be able to provide for someone. I feel like it's been really, like the thought of that might be, and I feel like the thought of that might be weighing quite heavy on you. Like that's the kind of message I'm getting. But then of course it's also important to ask yourself, like, what is the kind of legacy I want to build or leave behind? And I've said this in other videos there, and I've said this, and kind of what I usually say is like, what kind of legacy is it? It can be about leaving behind your thoughts, like in a book. It can be about leaving behind your emotions in the form of music, maybe. Or, maybe you want to leave behind like something financial. Maybe it's a company. So for some people, it's a family. So it's kind of like, what is the legacy we're working toward here? And of course, it's highly personalized, and it's like, what's important to you? And moving on to your feelings, like you have the Ace of Swords, and I feel like this is a great thing. The thing is, it can be amazing to know the truth and see the path ahead, because the Ace of Swords is victory through the truth. So that's like how you're feeling currently, right? And it's like a new way of thinking as well. So it can be that you've received some information or some kind of perspective, and it's kind of changed the way you view things, for example, or the way you think about something. And I feel like it has like some fantastic potential for you, but you know what the truth is. You have the truth in your feelings. And it's a victory card as well. And you have 2 victory cards in this. But currently, I'm just kind of questioning this, like, the Three of Swords energy. What is this about? Because if in your feelings you do have the truth, you have victory, you can see things clearly, and I think they are quite bright and positive as well, and have like huge potential. What is this Three of Swords about? How can you be so sure in your feelings, but then in the situation the Emperor is there crossed by the Three of Swords? If you know the truth and you are so sure, then why is this affecting you like that? And I'm not saying like, oh, you shouldn't be affected or anything, but I'm just trying to kind of prompt the question for you, like, what is it that's happening with this Three of Swords? If you're so sure, why is this still kind of affecting you? And of course it's okay that it does, that's not what I'm saying, but I think it's quite an important question to ask yourself. Like, what is it? What is this Three of Swords? And in your external energy or your outside influence, you have the Lovers. And the Lovers is a soulmate card. It's a head or heart decision. It's just love as well. Love for someone else, love for yourself, just loving what you do at work, for example. But of course, again, it's a love reading, so, you know, I'm kind of going to focus on the soulmate connections and just the love for someone else and being in love. And I think it just feels to me like the Lovers and the Justice card are kind of connected, because the Lovers in this position, because the outside influence, this is something that's affecting our situation. It's kind of surrounding the reading, right? But it's something that we don't necessarily notice straight away. So this is something that's coming in and it's kind of affecting everything, but you might not have noticed it yet. And I do feel like the Lovers, like I said, is kind of connected to the Justice card. Like, what are they about? Like I said, the Justice card can be a decision or an apology. Like, are you waiting for a decision? And also, like I said, the Lovers is about a choice. So is this Justice card, is that your decision? Because the Lovers, is that your choice? So are you kind of on the fence currently with the Justice card? Are you like, oh, I don't really know? I don't feel like it's that at all. I just thought I'd mention it. Like, I don't think that would be you, because you do have the Ace of Swords in your feelings, like I said, like truth and all that. But I just thought it was worth pointing it out. And in your hopes and fears, you have the Six of Wands, and that's, again, is a victory card. It's recognition. But it's in your hopes and fears, which, this can be, to simplify it, it can be, you're hoping for a victory, or maybe you're worried you're not going to win. So if we're going to simplify it, I would say you're leaning more toward hoping for a victory. And, I kind of get that, because it feels like you've been putting the work in, like the Eight of Pentacles in the past, you've been working. Justice, now you're waiting for some kind of decision or something, and then in the future you'll be the King of Pentacles, or you'll meet someone who is that clicks very well with you. So I feel like you have this Six of Wands kind of thing in your mind, like, oh well, I'm going to work and I'm going toward this victory thing. And I feel like you've put the work in and you've looked at the details and kind of taken the steps to get there. Been very diligent. And then, finally, the outcome is the High Priestess. The High Priestess is having the answers. It's about, it's a card for tarot. It talks of great intuition. But, then maybe this is the answer. Like, the outcome is that, yes, you do receive the answers from the Justice card. Things are clear. But, I just want to mention that because you do, like I said, you do have the Ace of Swords in your feelings, so you feel like you already have the answers. You already have the truth. But I just feel like there's harmony to the High Priestess here, and I just feel like the High Priestess is kind of washing away this Three of Swords energy, like there is more of an inner peace kind of deal with this. Which, if you're having issues with the Three of Swords at the moment, then that kind of thing, I imagine, is very welcome, like, serenity to have. But your Oracle cards, let's see, you have the number 52, Hasta la Vista Baby, from the Oracle of E, and it reads, Remember that song Queen Elsa sings in the Disney movie Frozen when she unleashes her magic? Well, if you didn't catch this animated flick, it's time to let it go. Walk away. And just like you never look back at the trash can you leave at the curb. And just like you never look back at the trash can you leave at the curb, don't give it a second glance. It's time for new beginnings. Out with the old and in with the new. So, I mean, Hasta la Vista Baby is basically, you know, in a tarot card, it would be the death card. Like, something has been changing for a while, and then if you manage to let go of that stuff, and this is about things that happened in the past, it can be about your emotional baggage, for example, which is the Three of Swords. So if you, and I'm not saying this is easy. I'm not saying it's easy to, I'll just let go of my past issues. Who cares? Well, baggage be gone, you know? It's not that simple, of course. But you also have that power within you. Like, you do possess that power to do that. And I think that's what Hasta la Vista Baby is kind of talking about as well. Like, the past is done. It's done, and okay, it happened, and now we can move forward. We can look to the future and move on. And let it go. Now, from the Wisdom of the Oracle, you pulled number 51, Milk and Honey. And the essential meanings are the taste of prosperity, opportunity born of authenticity, nurturing abundance, trusting that your needs will be met. Which I think is such a fantastic card for you to get here. And you are doing some of these things. Like, you know the truth with the Ace of Swords. You have that truth there, and you know, when you have the truth, sometimes it can be difficult to be honest about, like, okay, this is the truth, and sometimes it can be difficult to look at, but because it is there in your feelings, then I feel like you kind of accept that, and it's just a really fantastic card to complement all the other, like, powerful cards you have here, and you're like, yes, you are in control, and you do have all these potential powers, and you can make so much for yourself if you acknowledge them, and I kind of feel like you do. But yeah, like I said, you have a lot of powerful cards, but it still looks difficult. It looks like there's some doubt or some issues here. And I kind of feel like you do possess the potential to move beyond this, to move on and not look back, like with the Hasta la Vista card, and having the answers and getting the victory and making the choices and, you know, coming back to yourself in the future with the King of Pentacles potentially. And I wish you the best of luck. I really hope things go well for you. So that was your reading for mid-October. I really hope that was a message for you, and, you know, like I said, these readings are general and it's kind of impossible for it to resonate with everyone. But if it did resonate, or if it didn't resonate and you want some more answers, you have some questions about other, like, aspects or areas of your life, maybe there's some situation you're in, then you can contact me through my email, which you'll find below in the description box. You know, I'll give you some information about prices and the kind of readings I do. And as always, if you are wondering what kind of decks I've used or anything like that, you'll find most of the information down below in the information box as well. I know I keep changing things up and doing things differently, but I'm trying to find my way of doing it and kind of what suits me, and as well as input from my viewers, of course. But until next time, I hope everything goes well with the messages that were there for you, and if nothing else, I'll see you next time.